Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. Got a really great guest on today. She's a designer and art director based in New York and has spent over 10 years harnessing systematic, creative thinking to craft visuals and help brands come to life. She currently works at Google as Seed Studios VisD lead. Please join me in welcoming Gabriela Namie. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Thomas. Thank you for inviting me.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
Yep.
Great. Question one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a visual lead at Google Seed Studio. So we work on a lot of Google's hardware and also future thinking and a lot of self-initiated work, watch faces. Before that, I was at YouTube Music as their art director. And I'm originally from Brazil, so I moved to New York 8 years ago. And at the time, I took this opportunity to work for Sagmaster and Walsh, but that was very sudden. So it wasn't something that I was looking for. They reached out to me, and at the time, I didn't think of moving out of São Paulo, where I lived. I had my own studio, Studio Barca, which I did with my co-founder Julia Neda. And at the time, ooh, my dog. I'm sorry for this.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't think of moving out of Brazil. I didn't plan on working for someone else. But this happened, and at the time, it seemed like a great opportunity. Like, why not moving to New York? And I wanted to see how other studios did things. So what was supposed to be a 3 month thing ended up being a life changing experience. It influenced where I live, where I work. So yeah, now I work. It's a complete different story. I work in another country, another city, very different visions of design work.
Great. And just a quick note for the audience, if you guys are interested in 2025 episodes, check out the episode with Kareem Rashid. Question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Not sure what makes me different, but some things that I realize I do, and looking back, they work quite well. The first and more basic thing, and is I try to be very intentional about my design choices, whether they are visual or process. And I think that everyone pursues being very intentional, but it's hard because in a corporate environment, this means that you will have to talk to others and align with others, and that means you will not only have to design, but to spend a fair amount of time researching, explaining, presenting, meeting with people, doing a bunch of honestly boring and time-consuming things. They're not as fun as putting your headphones and designing something, at least for me. But it's something that you have to do if you don't want to build things alone. And I think that you can build very little things alone. So, in summary, I try to make sure I'm not replicating processes or ideas just because of tradition or because it's the easiest path forward or just because that's how it was always done. But making sure they are the best for the problem, even if it means that I will have to have difficult conversations. Um, and like on the matter of difficult conversation or any conversation, I try to communicate in the same language as the people I talk to. So I'm an in-house designer now, and a lot of people tend to think it means I don't have any clients anymore. And I learned it's quite the opposite. I think everyone is both my teammate and my client. So not in the sense I'm trying to sell them something, but in the sense that a lot of times we show our best face to clients and try to explain to them in the best way possible, but forget to do the same with the people we work with. And I try to show my best face to everyone I work with now. So I will definitely change how I explain a problem to an engineer or a designer, a PM, a marketing person. And I think this goes a long way when working with in a team. Um, Also, I realize I'm pretty empowered, which is a funny thing to say. But what I mean is that I have trust that I can go to a place without design culture and show them design is the key for a lot of business problems. So I remember when I joined a more corporate environment, I heard people saying, "Oh, why do you want to go to this place?" Or "Won't you like you won't really be able to do anything there?" or they just want designers to do X or Z. Or I don't know, everyone I know that when they're hated and like cool, but I just saw a lot of great problems to solve, and I know everyone loves good design and everyone benefits from good design, but it's a hard work to sell and convince people of good design. But I have trust that even one person can change the culture of a place if they go with the right mindset, asking the right questions, and following the right process to get the message across.
Great. Okay, so question three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
Uh, because it's relatively easy to design something beautiful. Like it's not easy to design something beautiful, but it's easy to design something beautiful when it is expected that you design something beautiful. In some industries, people expect a level of craft that naturally empowers you to deliver something amazing or beautiful to put on a case study. And it's not that easy to lay the foundation in an organization to create a better design culture and process. And it's not necessarily like a more noble problem to solve, like at all, but it's something I realized I like to do, and I succeeded at doing it a few times, so I kept doing it. I remember the first time that working at Google now, I remember the first time that Google released their first material design, and I was so young. I at the time I don't know if I was still in college or if I was out of college. I think I was still in college. I was so young. I didn't think at all at working for Google, but I saw a huge company deliver a good design system, which was unheard of at the time. And I don't know why, but I was pretty impressed. And later, when I had my own studio, we did a lot of cool, like small projects. But I also love to work on corporate presentations for like other clients, which is traditionally not something sexy, but I enjoy making something good out of something no one was paying attention to.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah.
Great. So some people struggle with number four, and the question is, what does your future look like?
Yeah, I definitely struggle with that as well. And I'm bad at visioning. I tend to want things that go in line with my current life. I'm not good at like throwing everything away and targeting something that's like completely out of the scope for my life now. So I guess the easy answer is to keep growing and doing what I'm doing, which is a mix of hands-on design and also managing people, playing, doing strategy. I do love what I do. Like I like working with talented designers, people from other disciplines. I do like solving the problems I solve. So I want to keep doing what I'm doing. But I also know and want to get tired of the problems I'm solving. So I like to always find new ones.
Great. And five, we say, is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. So I'm a third generation Japanese woman from Brazil, and my family not being traditionally Brazilian, or not looking stereotypically Brazilian shaped a lot of who I am and who they are. So by the time I was born, my father decided not to keep a lot of Japanese traditions in the family because he suffered so much racism. And he didn't want me to not be able to speak fluent Portuguese like he did when he was a child, or get so ingrained in the Japanese community that I would have to fight the battles that he did. So by the time I was born, I was around Japanese environments, but it was a huge presence of Brazilian culture, and this shaped who I am. There are stereotypical Brazilian traits, like any stereotype. It is a generalization, but I do fit in it. Like I'm very open. I tend to express myself with ease, and I love Brazilian humor, which is mostly about laughing at any situation. Like the dry, sarcastic humor doesn't really do for me, and I feel good in environments that are not only one thing. I feel most at home in heterogeneous spaces, like the city I grew up in, Sao Paulo. I do not thrive in cities that have had the same type of people for generations, whether this is about heritage, culture, industries. And I think that's one of the reasons I stay in New York, because um, I'm not sure. It's the one city in the U.S. where people actually come from everywhere. People work in very different industries, and it's a walkable city, and there's always something going on. Um, Also, being Brazilian and starting my career there shaped a lot of who I am as a designer. I like to think I'm pretty resourceful and just do what I have to do despite of the constraints. So the Brazilian design industry at the time that I was working there was way less developed financially than the US market. So there was a culture of you do what you have to do and you find a way to do it. There's no like, oh, I won't do it because like I won't do visual design because I'm a UX designer, or I won't like you will just do it. You're a designer. So Brazil made me pretty resourceful. Just do it kind of person. I see this trait in a lot of other Brazilian designers as well, and other places that share the same traits. And I'm currently remote. Like I work remote for Google, and most of my team is remote. And I think that plays a big role not only on my well-being but also on the output of the team. We do meet often to solve problems together or simply to bond, but where you live is a big part of your life. Like, does it mean you have to commute longer? Does it mean you are around your community in a place of more or less diversity that makes you feel like you belong, or that makes you feel like you're single out and feel different all the time? So, especially at a job that requires creativity, you're requiring someone's cultural baggage, you're requiring someone's cultural references. Those are all pretty personal things. And if you want a professional to bring all of that, but you're requesting them to leave their whole community and the things that they love and care about, then of course this will affect them and will affect their work. So the notion of place to me matters a lot, especially when it comes to the creative industry, or any industry, I guess. But that's what I can speak of. So when I had to move from Brazil to the US, I felt it pretty deeply. And that was the time before COVID when working remotely wasn't really a thing. I didn't see my family for 5 years. Like, I didn't eat the food that makes me feel home, like, for a long time. So, yeah, I'm glad that this is not the case now. And although that was the best thing that ever happened to me, I cannot assume that is the best for everybody.
Nice. So number six, you're starting from the beginning. What advice do you give your former younger self?
I think when you're young, it is easy to focus so much like on the output and on design results, because this is still new and exciting, and novelty. But making sure you're doing it in a sustainable way, it's very important. So I would probably give me some pointers on soft skills, pay more attention to processes. It was very easy for me to say yes to everything. I was very excited about a lot of different opportunities, and I would say yes. And I think it is important to understand what makes sense to you or not. Like, it's not because you can do it that you have to do it. And yeah, I'm also grateful for every opportunity I got. And although that's beautiful, I think I would have I would have better boundaries and a faster path if I had just realized no one is doing a favor to hire me. Like, I see this being a woman and being from another country. I see this, especially for women and immigrants, that sometimes we are grateful, and that's great. But also, no one like we're doing a favor to work and like do all the things that we do, and not the other way around.
Nice. What's a day in your life like?
It's not exciting and it's not glamorous. I'm not young anymore, so I thrive on routine, and I wake up early. Few times a week, I have language classes, so I pick up my rusty German. I'm back on it, so I don't lose it. Um, I start work with a lot of cold brew, and I never got used to real breakfast, even though that's not good for my body. And then because I stay on my desk at home for so long, I recently got a desk treadmill, which is also not glamorous. but it's something you need when you get older. And I stayed there all day. I don't like stop for lunch. I guess I became full American because I just eat my lunch on my desk to optimize my time. Um, and then on a good day, I have half of my day to design. But there are a lot of meetings too, and I love cycling, and I always did. But I used to do it more for commuting, like fixed gear bikes, activism kind of biking, side of biking. And I don't commute anymore. I don't ride the fixed gear anymore. So now I train on a road bike or at Zwift at home. So I have around like 6 bike trainings a week, and that usually takes like 1 hour per day. And then I go to the gym, which also takes 1 hour per day. So that's already 2 hours of my day. So I just have time to like eat dinner like quite late and go to bed. I like to keep a very strict routine during the week, and I enjoy it. As crazy as it sounds, like I don't like going out during the week or meeting friends during the week. This is kind of disruptive to me. Um, this week, like a coworker told me I was very organized, and I'm organized at work. I think a lot of times I come across as like a type A kind of person, which could not be further away from reality in my personal life. I was never that person. I had to become organized at work because I'm not, like, it's okay not to be organized when I'm the only person affected, like missing planes or booking the wrong days at a hotel. It is not okay when other people are involved. So having a very rigid schedule during the week is something I enjoy. I enjoy during the week because it allows me to do so much and do so many other things that I enjoy that I wouldn't be able otherwise. Um, but I travel a lot, so like every 2 months, this routine is kind of broken for like 1 week or 2 weeks.
Great. Eight is about lifelong learning. It's a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
Um, I love the feeling of getting inspired or obsessed about a topic. Like the times in my life I was my happiest, I was like obsessed about a topic. I remember early, like in college, when I found out like um more about urbanism and tied this to cycling, and like it kind of blew my mind, and I love this feeling. Um but I don't really love to learn like new softwares unless they are revolutionary and tell you something about beyond the craft, but about society in general. I don't like the feeling of being stagnant and not learning anything new. So, as I said, I'm back to German classes after 10 years not studying it. I started a course, I think it's going to start like 2 weeks from now, on psychoanalysis and art. It's an online course that a museum in Brazil provides. But to be honest, the simple act of interacting with the people I work with and my friends already teach me a lot of new stuff. I'm not just saying it's gonna sound kind of phony, but my team is crazy brilliant. The people are always learning about something different. They always have a crazy personal project. So they have, like, I see on a like different references, softwares and disciplines on a daily basis, and I feel very lucky for that. I'm constantly learning just by passively existing. Especially now in this AI race, there's always something new going on, and I do have like on the cycling back again. I have a, a trainer in Australia, and we meet once a month online, and he sends me the trainings. That alone provides me more insights on road biking. I used to bike, but I didn't like learning about numbers like FTP, zone two, and all those specifics. So I'm learning a lot about this now. So yeah, not learning only about design, but in a general uh, kind of way.
Great. So nine is about tools. Can you talk about digital and or analog tools?
Yeah, I mean, I use mostly like on a daily basis. I use Figma, Illustrator, Photoshop, a lot of presentations. So a lot of Google Slides. The way I think now is through presentations. Like even if I don't have to make one, I still do, because explaining the idea to someone makes me realize if there are any holes in the solution or if I'm missing anything. And I use AI quite a lot to rephrase or almost an assistant. So asking a chatbot to come up with the same grammatical structure for three different phrases for presentation for purposes, or a word that captures three different ideas I want to talk about. I think like this is especially amazing for someone who works in a second or third language. And I use AI for studying languages too.
Great. So halfway number 10, work-life balance, life-work balance. How do you deal with it?
I find this extremely important. Like back in the day, it was kind of normal not to have or pursue work life balance. I heard designers before saying there's no differentiation between life and work because work is such a great source of joy for them. And like, sure, like for me too. But I don't think there's anything I want to do for so long for like indeterminately, like solely one activity and that's it. I would probably get dumb. And I like to bike. I don't like to just bike. I like to strength train and play with my dogs. That's not the only thing I want to do. I want to have time to dedicate to myself, to be by myself, alone, quiet, to be fully present in each moment. I want to have time, quality time with the people I love, and time to travel and completely log off if possible. And I want to solve problems at work. And I also want to take all walks outside when it's summer. So realistically, I cannot have all those things at once, but I can have a great balance in the long run. um, I love how I feel when I'm productive at work, and I know that I need certain things to make that happen. I need a great diet, a healthy mind, a healthy body, time off. But also love how I feel when I'm fully enjoying the present moment during the trip, when I'm cycling. And this goes both ways. I can only do those fun things too when I know I'm giving my best at work. So I think work life balance is extremely important, and I it's something I pursue. It's needed for both, like it goes both ways.
Good. So if you weren't doing what you do now, what would you be doing?
I have no idea because I'm not good at anything and I don't enjoy anything as much as I enjoy design. To do like for as a job, it is a discipline that touches everything, like how society works, how the brain works. And because when I'm designing, I get in the zone, like it feels so good. And it has always been this way. Like since I was a child, I would draw logos for companies I made up. Or I would come up with personas, drawing and coming up with random names and professions for random people I made up in my mind and draw them. Um, so like this creative graphic space is something I have been running to since I'm a child. And it's like I think every creative person or like someone who works in the creative industry or considers themselves creative feel the same way. Like this creative space inside us is a rich, deep space that is kind of like it's yours since you were like very little and now you share with others professionally. But ultimately it's yours, and I love to be there. So I would probably choose something in the creative industry, but I don't like fashion. Like I don't like anything. I cannot think of anything else, but I would have to think of something in the creative industry.
How about what you would not like to do with your career?
I actually did what I did not like to do because I had a relapse when I had to choose what to study in college. And at the time, design was a risky profession when it comes to financial rewards, especially in Brazil. I didn't know people who made money out of it. So it was a time that if you wanted to make a safe decision, you would either go for business school, law, or engineering. And I chose to go to law. I do find law to be very interesting. I love studying sociology, philosophy. I actually went to study philosophy later and dropped out because I had to. I had already my studio and I couldn't like have a studio and go to college for philosophy. But I studied law for 6 months and I interned with one of my professors. And the day by day was extremely boring. And I quickly realized, as interesting as school was, I could not do that as a real profession day by day. So Not being in an environment that optimizes for creativity felt like I was leaving a big part of me behind. So after only 6 months, I dropped out and went to art school. So I would not be a lawyer.
Nice. Do you have a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
I don't know why, but I constantly think and mentalize the word abundance. I like to remind myself I have choices and they're not finite resources when it comes to my choices. So whatever I choose will work because I'm putting my energy in there.
Do you have a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Uh, Probably like most people, anything that has to do with you have to do it or this is the only way. Um, I think there are many right ways to do something, and there are some wrong ways of doing something. But you don't have to do anything. It doesn't have to be one way. There's not only one way to do things.
Great. And you're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word do you choose?
Resourceful.
What keeps you up at night?
TikTok.
Final stretch here. What's a dream you're chasing?
Uh, I'm not chasing anything, to be honest. Like this will sound cheesy, but like I want to be a better person every year. So like when it comes to work, I want to solve bigger problems, like get engaged on the problems I'm solving, be able to understand and support the people I work with. If I look at a project from last year and think I could do better this year, that's what I'm chasing. And usually that's how it works. Like I see some projects I did in like December last year and I'm already like this sucks. Like I could do much better now. And I don't have many dreams. I'm happy where I am and whatever happens after, as long as I'm healthy and I still have the good people I have around me and I keep doing cool things at work and I'm still engaged and not like cynic.
What inspires you?
Um, I like thinking of the bigger picture. I don't get inspired by like, or I used to, but I don't get inspired by mood boards or visual stuff anymore. Like it's very rare that I will see something and it will blow my mind. Uh, there's like we just see a lot of visual references nowadays, like way more, and it's more and more all the time, like which is great. So, but also I'm not inspired by it anymore. So like it is inspiring to think about the bigger picture in life. Like my dad was a pretty simple person, like humble beginnings, both of my parents, but especially my dad. And he was able to go to college, which was a big accomplishment. He was able to support my education, and I had way more opportunities than he had. Which also means I have different political views and different views of the world, but that's exactly how it should be. And I want to be able to honor that. I want to be able to like think about the bigger picture and honor all the effort. So yeah, like recognize how incredible everything that's going on in my life is, and like thinking that he started all of this, but like I want to do it by my own rules.
Nice. At 19, any advice you'd like to share?
Uh, I said this many times before, like for like when people ask me, and I will probably sound repetitive, but you have to know what you're exchanging your creative force for. Um, you have to know, um, like as we talked, like creativity is something that we develop this like sacred space inside of us, like very deep rich space inside of us when we're little, and we keep going for it and like keep, and now we're like sharing this very beautiful space professionally. So what are you exchanging your creative force for? Because this is pretty amazing, so you need to know what this is about.
Great. And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
No call to action. Do whatever you want to do, and I'm not the best at updating my portfolio. um, and I'm to be honest, I'm more and more devoted to daily tasks, making sure that my actual work is good versus updating my portfolio, but I want to be better at it. Um, so yeah, I guess it would be Instagram and LinkedIn.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining. Great to connect with New York again and bring you on. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Great talking to you.